Well, good evening, everybody. Let's go ahead and get started with our virtual family engagement session tonight. Thank you for being here. We really appreciate you taking time and so that you can help share this information as well. Um, as you came in from the waiting room, you might have noticed that your microphone was turned off. That's just so that we can hear our presenters. But I still want to hear from each of you. I see folks already using the chat feature. Make sure to put your questions, things you're thinking about in the chat. It's so helpful. We're able to go through and monitor the chat. We'll try to answer things in the chat as well as part of tonight's presentation. So make sure your voices are heard through the chat. And I see some of you have your cameras on. I love seeing everybody, knowing that you're a part of our session. But I also know this time of night you might be trying to get a few other things done at home, or sometimes that camera can slow down your computer. So it's okay if your camera's off. But again, I love seeing everybody on. Excuse me. Well, welcome again to our virtual family engagement session tonight. I'm Scott Varner, the Executive Director of Family Engagement here in Columbus City Schools, where, as you know, this year in Columbus City Schools, we are all in. That means all of our teachers, our staff, our principals, our district leaders, our community partners are all in to try to provide our students with those best opportunities at success. And that means making sure that our families are engaged, that you have the supports and resources that you need to support that young person at home as well. I appreciate our family ambassadors who are part of tonight's session. It's great to have you on here. Make sure you put a shout out to your building in the chat, because you are great at sharing this information with the families you serve. And I also appreciate our bilingual engagement liaisons that are here from our partners at ETSS, because you do a great job of sharing this information with all of our families, no matter what language is spoken at home. All right, throughout tonight's session, I'm going to ask for help a few times. And the first thing I always ask for help on is helping us exercise a bit of grace. It's just that reminder to all of us that we're going to give everybody the opportunity to voice their opinion. That's why that chat is so important. So make sure to put things in the chat. I also appreciate that so many of you help us to remain positive. We know that this has been a tough school year, gosh, a tough time throughout all of our community, our country, our world. And so I appreciate that you help keep us positive on these sessions and have very constructive conversations. We'll acknowledge if we don't have an answer. I said, put your questions in the chat. You may ask something that we don't have an answer for, at least not yet. If there's a question that you have that does not get answered, please make sure that you email us. The email address is at the bottom of the screen there, engage@columbus.k12.oh.us. It's also the email address that you got tonight's Zoom link for. So you can just hit reply and send us that question that didn't get answered. We'll be considerate and respectful of your time. I appreciate that you allowed us to start just a couple minutes late, but we will definitely be done by 7 o'clock because we know how valuable your time is. And finally, that last point, so important, a reminder that it is every one of us. We are all in this together. And we want to make sure that everyone is working together at the benefit of our students. So thank you for being a part of it. Another thing I'm going to ask for your help on is checking the Columbus City Schools website. As many of you know, we've updated the website, trying to make it as easy as possible for you to find answers to the questions you have. We've even added this new search feature in the middle of our website that as you begin typing your question, it tries to predict answers for you so that it can get you there even faster to find the answers that you need. And what's great about the website, we are constantly updating it almost daily with different information, stories about the district, but also stories about our community partners who provide valuable resources, important updates about our buildings, about some of the different things that we're working on as a district, information for our families. Like I said, almost updated daily. In fact, there will be something new posted soon. If you didn't get your auto dial call just a few minutes ago, if you have an elementary school student in your family, a reminder that the vaccines, the COVID-19 vaccines at all of our elementary schools are coming up. We have extended the deadline for you to turn in that consent form. We're trying to make it as easy as possible for those young students between the ages of 5 and 11 to get the COVID vaccine at school. As a parent, all you have to do is fill out that consent form to make it happen. It's not mandatory. We're not automatically doing it. We have to have your consent as a parent, but we're trying to make it as quick and easy as possible for more of our young people to get that important vaccine. So make sure you listen to that voice dialer that just came in. And if you need more information, go to our website. All right, friends, let's get to focus on what brought us here tonight. And this reminder that for many of our families, it has been a challenging year. Gosh, for all of us, it's been a challenging year. And some families need some additional help. And we appreciate that those families recognize that in this community, we have such incredible generosity, generous organizations, individuals who want to make sure that no family goes without the resources they need, especially this time of year. And they're a resource to help our families, especially during the holidays. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen because we have two great organizations who are with us tonight. The Salvation Army is here, Captain Jim Brennan, but we're going to begin with our partners, great partners at Lutheran Social Services. Pam Georgiana is here tonight to talk through the 211 information helpline. It is a website, it is a phone number, it is an incredible resource of information. If you are seeking help, if you know somebody who's searching for help, if you're one of our family ambassadors and looking for other organizations throughout our community, this one place has all of the information you need. So with that, Pam, I'm going to turn it over to you to really share with our friends here tonight the great resource of 211.
Thank you, Scott. I appreciate that. Hi, everyone. I'm Pam. I work for Lutheran Social Services, and one of our programs is the 211 program. I'm going to share my screen here. So as Scott said, you can just call 211, and get to what you need, the information you need. There's, we have people ready to take your call and to kind of find, go through the database and kind of find what you need and give you that information. Or you can do it yourself through the website. So basically what 211 is an information and referral service. So any program within Franklin County that, that helps people with their needs, basic needs, anything, medical help, whatever, should be within our database, and we'll be able to tell you what those programs are and what you should do, call, email, whatever. So it's for all of Franklin County, and it's basically just this one-stop shop, hopefully, to find the things that you need. Like I said, you can call 211. We also have an app you can download, and we have a texting food line you can use as well, and the website. And so today we thought we'd take you kind of through the website a little bit to show you how it works. So it's 211centralohio.org. Or you can find it through the Lutheran Social Services website, which is lssnetworkofhope.org, and then just click on 211. Either way, it'll get you to this page right here. So, the LSS Central Ohio Information and Referral Line. We used to be called Hands-On. We took over, we changed it to 211 not even a year ago, when they sort of came under the umbrella of Lutheran Social Services. So if you know it by Hands-On, it's the same thing. We just changed the name back to 211, which seems a little bit more, reasonable considering that's the phone number, right? So anyway, when you get to the website here, the database to search, you just have to scroll down a little bit past the pretty pictures. And this is where you can sort of put in your parameters that you're searching for. You definitely have to put something in terms of place. I would suggest you do that, because otherwise you're going to get this huge long list. Since we carry all of Franklin County, it would be helpful to do something here where you're kind of limiting yourself a little bit. So if we did 43209, put that in there. You can put your age in, gender, that's really, it really depends on what you're looking for. But then, or you can put your city, so you can put Bexley, Columbus, whatever. Then scroll down a little bit. And so these icons are sort of groupings that we put together for the different kinds of programs that we have. So, you know, there's advocacy programs, there's adult care and youth programs, arts education, mental health, food, clothing, emergency services, healthcare. So you click on the icon that you think is matching what you're looking for, or you could go down to this view all services and you'll get them all there. You have to do some more sorting then to kind of get where you want to go. Another good function is my computer's going to be slow today, is the top 25. So this first icon here is top 25 services. So these are the services that are most asked for when people go to our website and look for something. So, you know, you might just go here and find what you need, not have to do a whole lot of other sorting. So holiday gift and toys is number one. So these are the numbers of people who have sorted or have looked for these programs within the last 90 days. So top one is rental payment assistance, holiday gifts and toys, food pantries, Christmas baskets. You kind of go down the list. So if you're looking for holiday gifts and toys, you just click on that. And then you're going to get all of the programs that do those services within the location that you gave the computer to do. So within the location I put in, there's one service here, matching service provider for you. And you'll see if you click view more info, you'll get a whole lot of information about what the services are, how eligible you need to be, what the hours are, documents that you're going to need to take with you to do this, as well as the phone number to call for more information if you needed it. So East Columbus Development Company, Firefighters for Kids was giving out holiday gifts and toys for kids under 14. There's the phone number that you can call. To be eligible, you have to be a Franklin County family with children 14 and under. These are the hours you can go, what they need in terms of intake or to get your services. A lot of the food pantries just sort of walk up. You don't have to call ahead or make an appointment. And then some of the services are that you have to make an appointment. So this one you have to make an appointment and fill out an application and the documents you need to bring. And then whatever, you know, fees, there's no fees involved, that kind of thing. So that gives you sort of a really good outline of the things that this organization does. You can also email and text them. There's a button to do that here, or print this page if you want to print it. You could do that. You can also go over here to, if you get a list of a whole lot of things, this is really helpful, this map. So the map will tell you where all those locations are. And you can it's just a Google Maps. You can just scroll, zoom in, zoom out to try to, figure out where they all are and what might be the most convenient for you to do. And then you can save it to your favorites, your bookmarks, email it to yourself so you can have it on your phone. So there's lots of different ways you can kind of keep this information for you, so that you have it in the future. So let's go to one. So if you go to food pantries, our food pantry system here in Franklin County is as varied as you could possibly be. There are hundreds of food pantries within Franklin County, and most of them have different parameters in terms of what you need to do to use their services. So this is really helpful in terms of being able to know which ones are best for you. Most of the food pantries where you would need to make an appointment, you need to call us to do. You can't make an appointment over the website right now. But that'll tell you that within these different listings. So again, this is within the this is not within, sorry, that lost my zip code. So you can sort of break this down by zip code. So you're looking for a food pantry that's near you, or you can just sort of get a whole list. And so these are the same thing. You can get all kinds of information about who's eligible, the hours, what you can, if you can walk in. So Bishop Griffith is a walk-in pantry. If not, it'll tell you here to call to make an appointment, what documents you need, all of those kinds of things. So there's a whole list here. And so that's when the map comes in handy. So you can kind of drill down into, into where they actually are and figure out what's the actual, what's the easiest to get to, what's on a bus line, that kind of thing. And if you need to refine even more, you can do that here. And there's more ways to refine on the front page as well. You can also change the language on these, either here, which is the Google language translator, or down here, which is the translator that's on the entire website. So either one will translate almost everything. I'm not going to say it's everything. Sometimes it doesn't really work on the database, but you can translate at least some of it to the language that you need. What else can I tell you? Let's see. So like I said, this is an information service for any kind of service that you might need all year round. This is not just for holidays, right? So you need rental assistance, you need dental care, you need a food kitchen, a food pantry, winter clothing, anything. These are the programs that do those things all year round. So this does not go away after the holidays. These little, these groups will go away, but then you'll just have all the other stuff that happens all year round, whether it be, like I said, rental assistance, that kind of thing. And this covers all of Franklin County, not just Columbus. So just if you needed something, and in one of the other cities, that would be in here as well.
Hey, talk a little bit about, I know one of the things that you pointed out, which is always good to remember, is that each of these service providers may have different requirements, different rules they have to follow based upon maybe their funding. And so what's really important is, as you identify an organization or organizations that you would want to reach out to, if they have a phone number, it's always good to call. Sometimes within the listing, it will say some of the requirements or different services provided. Is that right? Is that the best thing to really do, is to kind of read through some of those descriptions?
Yes, absolutely. We try to make these, descriptions as complete as possible, so that you know what you need to do. And it should say, if you need to make an appointment, it should say, call this number to, call 211 or call us to make an appointment. And then when you do that, the phone operator will tell you, will reiterate to you all of the things you need to bring. You need to bring, Social Security card or birth certificates, or, for other things in terms of being able to get that service. Or just make an appointment, that kind of thing. So every program is different. There's no standardization in most of, in most of the programs, I would think, that are sort of available right now. So it's really important to kind of look at those details, or to call if you don't know, to get those details. You can either call 211, or you can call the program directly and get that information as well.
Because we had a couple of good questions in the chat. One person was asking about specifically some healthcare providers and those that maybe specialize in serving clients where English is not the primary language. And again, so if you were to read through that, you might be able to find that right service provider that specializes in working with our new American or immigrant families, correct?
Yeah, there's a little listing in the service, in the listing that says, languages offered, that kind of thing. Yes.
Oh, so that's very helpful. And then do most of the programs also, as part of that eligibility or some of the requirements, also mention maybe what type of information you might need to bring? So as you mentioned, some of those service providers are able to help anybody who walks up, but others do require some sort of, maybe an ID or proof of residency or proof of where you live, not necessarily citizenship, but just proof that you live in Franklin County. That's on there as part of the listing too, correct?
Correct, yeah. So if you were looking for, help with your utilities, you would most likely need to bring, depending on the program again, let me see if I can find one, but it would say in here that you need to bring a gas bill or something like that let's see if I can find one to qualify for that kind of thing. Documents. So this document, to get the senior citizen electricity discount, you would need to bring these things: application, proof of age, proof of income. And again, it goes back, everything's pretty much different, everything, but that is in this listing, you can find that out.
And what I so appreciate about your operators who answer the phone line as well is they think through that too. So as if a family calls that number, as they're talking through their needs, they help to drill down a little bit to ask those additional questions. What kind of documentation do you have that you might need to provide? So I really appreciate your operators are also thinking through all those questions.
Yeah, that's actually, when the phone operators have kind of a database that they go through and there's check marks, did I ask this? Did I ask this? Did I ask this? So yes, they will always ask that question or tell you, what you need to bring. And that will save you so much time, you know what I mean? In terms of having to go down the city again, or when you bring the right thing, that kind of thing. So yes, the operators will do that as well.
And really the site is, there is so much information there. And friends, I know sometimes when there's a lot of information, it maybe seems hard to find. That's why those operators are so helpful. But if I can share a quick story, even today, we had a family call into the district offices where a child in the family had broken his glasses, and under their insurance, they were not eligible for new glasses for several months, and asked if there was an organization that was helping families replace glasses. And sure enough, we went on the website, searched through the different elements, and found that organization that had a voucher ready to go for that family. So within just a matter of minutes, we were able to connect that family with this incredible community resource. Because as I said, this community is full of great organizations with incredible generosity, but sometimes it's tough finding the right resource at the right time. And boy, this website just offers so much great information, and your team does a great job of keeping it updated, right?
Yeah, we're sort of we've got sort of a process down where we are always constantly sending out notes and information and forms for our programs to kind of update us, right? And this has been especially important, especially over the last 18 months with COVID, because everybody's process changed, right? No longer were you walking into buildings, without an appointment or picking something up like food from a pantry in the same way. So yeah, we long way to say that, yeah, we are very, very cognizant of making sure that we are trying to keep up with our services and what they're doing and what they need. And the services are, they want, they want to do well and to make sure their services are provided. So, services will come to us to tell us, we changed this, we're now a drive-through pantry, can you update the website to say that? Yeah. So that's really important.
That's a great point. The organizations that are on here want to help families. They're on there because they want to help families. And, some of the restrictions that they may have, it's not their own doing. Sometimes it's based upon the funding that they have or certain requirements placed upon them. But you are so right that these organizations want to help, want to make sure that families are coming to them that are eligible and able to get that. Remind everybody real quick, of course, the website, the great thing about the website, it's available all the time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Remind us about the phone number. What's the number again, and what hours can we call?
It's 24/7 for the phone. And it's just 211. As long as you're in Franklin County, just dial 211 and you'll get to us. But yeah, they man the phones all 24/7.
Friends, we try to make it as easy as possible in this community to find the resources you need. And so what a great service that this continues to be. Pam, thank you to you and your team for all that you do. Please know, as I shared with you before we got started, that our family ambassadors in all of our buildings also know about this great resources. So if you are a family in Columbus City Schools, know that there is someone in your building, your family ambassador, who has this information too, that if you have questions, reach out to your family ambassador. They know how to access this website, can also help you make that phone call, because families, we want to make sure you have all the resources you need. And sometimes that's not about academics, it's not about the work that we do in school, but it's those other parts of our lives that are so important. And we know that no matter what we do in our schools each day, if a young person comes home and there's a crisis at home, that derails all the work that we do during the day on academics. And so we want to make sure that our families have that stable housing, that they have that reliable access to food, that the resources they need are there. And we're so appreciative of community partners. Pam, any final things you want to share before we ask our friends at Salvation Army to share the great work they're doing?
For Lutheran Social Services also runs food pantries, and as crazy as it sounds, we are not part of the 2-on-1 network. So there's another part of the site here where our food pantries are. We have 2 in Franklin County, one on the south side, one on the west side. So again, other resources that you might be, that you families might be interested is is our food pantries in Cleveland and Columbus. And we also have a health center downtown that is specifically there for folks who don't necessarily have insurance or are having a hard time paying for medical bills. There is a health center downtown at Faith Mission that folks can go to.
And will you mention briefly the Guadalupe Center?
The Guadalupe Center? That's not part of ours.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. They're good food pantry for sure. That's
Perfect.
Columbus Catholic Charities.
That's right. I'm so sorry. So sorry. Thank you so much again for all that you do and your team. And I know that you'll stick around a little bit because I know there were a couple of questions in the chat. Friends, again, that number is so helpful because I saw a couple of questions in the chat. You had very specific questions to the challenges that your family is facing. And that's why that number is so great, because you can reach out and ask those very specifics, and those operators do a great job of understanding kind of the big categories and then start to drill down a little bit and find the resource that's best available. So Pam, thank you again to you and your team. As we mentioned, the community is full of great generosity, making sure that where possible, we help every family find the resources that they need, and especially this time of year. And one of our partners who active all year round, but we notice them a lot during this time of year, is the Salvation Army. And Captain Jim Brennan with the Salvation Army is with us here tonight. Thank you for all that you do to support our families here in Columbus City Schools. Talk a little bit about the work of the Salvation Army, and then we'll get into some of the specifics of holiday help that you provide.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you so much for allowing us to be here. And we love 211 in the communities that we've been in. It's just such a good tool. And if I could just add on to the wonderful information you've already received, absolutely take advantage of 211. Call that number. The folks that are waiting will help you. They'll get you where you need to go. So I'm a big fan. So thank you for sharing, Pam. It was amazing. The Salvation Army is an interesting thing, Scott, to your point. You see us a lot around Christmas, but then, during the year, you might wonder, I wonder what those guys are up to all year round. They come out really hot and heavy with those bells and those buckets, and then, then we don't see them quite so much. Well, the Salvation Army does provide services for families and individuals all year round. We have a large basic needs service expression And so we have across central Ohio and Franklin County and Delaware County, 6 different locations that you can come to a Salvation Army facility and find a food pantry or other forms of basic material assistance. We have a fairly robust expression, and during the pandemic, and Scott, you're right, the last 18 months, 24 months now, beyond anybody's weirdest expectations. Just during that pandemic period, the first 18 months, we served over 1.5 million meals. It was absolutely insane. And like everybody else, to Pam's point, we had to do our services in a different way. So we ended up with drive-through pantries, and we've gone back now to that that personal touch where people can come into the buildings and really, it's a much better thing. I think that personal touch. We're careful. It's safe. We sanitize constantly. We're wearing masks. We do all of the things, but we seem to think it's a better deal to be able to see people face to face. We have senior food boxes that we that we give out on, with Mid-Ohio Food Banks partnership, to-go meals and mobile feeding. We have a Salvation Army, what I would call a emergency disaster services truck. It looks like a food truck. It's not specifically a food truck, but we serve food out of it. That goes around, throughout central Ohio on the weekends and provides hot meals. We partner with Chick-fil-A to provide a lot of that food, so that's amazing. The past year, we assisted almost 95,000 people with food, rent, utility assistance, clothing vouchers, and things of that nature. And some of those things people expect of the Salvation Army. Those are the things that probably everybody knows, but we also have services for children. And so we have an after-school learning center program. It's, I like to call it the after-school program. My social ministries coordinator corrects me and says, no, it's an after-school learning center. I said, okay, and what's the difference? Well, the difference is it is STEM based, so we're not just warehousing kids, we're actually making sure that we're helping them with their academics. And how important does that become in what I would just refer to as the strangest time for our youth, honestly. And so someday when we're all retired, I'm convinced research psychologists will just then begin to understand the impact, quite honestly. But we have an after-school learning center. In the summertime, we do a summer day camp program, and normally we do these things at 2 sites. It's been a challenge, I think, for everybody to find staffing at this point. So at this point, we're at 1 site, and hopefully by the grace of God, we'll end up at 2 sites for the summer. But this past summer, being able to do that learning summer day camp program in person and to see the joy on the kids' faces as we did that was just, it was equal parts heartwarming and heart-wrenching all at the same time. I don't know how else to describe it. But in addition to that, for youth, we also have, in what I guess I'll call a normal year, if there is any such thing anymore, residential summer camp for kids. And we do that at little to no cost for families. We give them the best week of their lives out at Camp Swinecki. It's about an hour from here. There's all the things that you would think of at a summer camp that kids would enjoy. There's an animal farm. There's a swimming pool with the sprinklers and the lifeguards. There's camp food. I was about to lie to you all and tell you it was absolutely delicious, but it is camp food, so it's nutritious and it gets the job done, but you're not going to confuse it with one of Cameron Mitchell's, So this week of summer camp is available to anyone that would come up with a qualifying age child, I believe 6 to 17. There's different sessions, different weeks, different themes. And so we have those things for youth. In addition to that, we have music programs. We do music lessons at no charge. We have instruments at our locations that the kids can use. We have athletic programs that run in at least 2 of our facilities. I just learned not too long ago that Gaga isn't just a pop singer, but it's a game that the kids play instead of dodgeball. Who knew? Who knew? So we have those things going on for kids also. And then some of the other things that you might think of when you think of the Salvation Army we house the homeless. And so we are intricately involved in partnership with Community Shelter Board in providing affordable housing. So once folks enter into the shelter program in Central Ohio, then we're one of the agencies that is called to help find them affordable housing. And it's not just a matter of finding them the home, which is a great piece. I don't want to undersell that at all, but it's also about walking with them as they settle into that new home, making sure that they have those basic needs. There's a real issue at times, and I had the misfortune of growing up incredibly poor. And I have to tell you, the 1 year that our refrigerator freezer went bad, not only did it nearly kill our Thanksgiving, except the Salvation Army bailed us out, which is one of the reasons I do what I do, but it also impacted the family budget for the entire year, a refrigerator, the entire year. And so we journey with these folks to make sure that when life happens, as it does, that these things, they have help and they have hope in those times. We have other services for adults as well. I don't know if you're familiar with the Salvation Army's anti-human trafficking program, but I used to think when I was a bit younger that anti-human trafficking looked a lot like Liam Neeson in the movie Taken, and that was the full extent of human trafficking. But it's so much more than that, and it's actually so much more sinister than that. And we have found that there are vulnerable women and children in every community, and men, to be quite honest, that are either manipulated for basic needs, and they in turn provide either labor or sexual activity because they're trying to just survive, and eventually addiction issues come into play. You might not know, but last year we helped nearly 1,000 people stuck in human trafficking in Central Ohio become survivors and break out of that. And so we have a 24-hour hotline that we constantly monitor here in this region. And we offer full case management for when people do come out of that trafficking situation. And much like with the housing, we journey with them. It's important that we journey with them. You might have been to a Salvation Army thrift store recently and wondered why a pair of pants cost so much money. I hear that a lot. Why do the pants cost so much money? Well, we don't do a very good job of telling you about our thrift stores, to be honest with you, and what those thrift stores do. So not only do we write vouchers to those thrift stores for people that have material assistance need, but the products that are sold in that thrift store fund our adult rehabilitation center. And our adult rehabilitation center is set up to help men in Central Ohio who have addiction issues and chronic homelessness issues. It's a full residential long-term program. It's got one of the highest success rates in the country. And the items that we sell in that store pay for that service so that those who need the service don't have to pay a penny out of pocket. It covers their lodging, it covers their food, it covers their counseling, it covers their therapy. And so that's what the Salvation Army thrift stores actually do, is the products that are sold there. Nothing goes to waste. Even the things that are, you might consider to be a rag, we actually sell those by the pound, actually. So no piece of clothing goes to waste at all. But that's what it does. And so it's not that we're just selling a shirt or a pair of pants. We're using those funds to help those that are stuck in those situations. In addition to all of that, we, believe it or not, we offer spiritual services in the Salvation Army every Sunday morning, and during the week we tend to be what I call, well, the place of worship that people go to when they don't have a place of worship, if you will. We welcome everybody, and honestly, it's a great place to be. But then what you're familiar with most with the Salvation Army, and I'm going to see if I can share my screen. I am not as young as I used to be, so this is not as easy as it used to be. Let's see. Can you see the website now? Someone give me a thumbs up.
We can see it.
Oh, good. That makes me incredibly happy because that means I did this right. So Now, ironically, I can't see it. Isn't that fun? So let me see if I can drag this window over. So this is what happens when I try and be cool. I have two monitors on my desktop thinking I'm all that in a bag of chips. Can you still see the website?
We can.
Oh, good. That makes me happy. So as you alluded to earlier, Scott, Salvation Army is in fact known for its Christmas help and assistance. And that is certainly true here in Central Ohio. So if you were to go to the website, which is Salvation Army Central Ohio, .org, right front and center, you'll see, the things that we have happening right now, really prominently placed. So this year's theme for Christmas is Hope Marches On. We really felt that given everything we've been enduring together over the past 2 years, this was an appropriate theme, quite honestly. And from here, of course, the bells, everybody knows the bells. But for assistance sake, this is the page right here. You can get to the assistance information you need here. So most prominently, we serve Franklin and Delaware counties with Christmas assistance. And if you were to click on the Franklin County button by the magic invested in the website by some web host source that I'm not aware of, comes the registration information. And if you're seeing this, you might be looking at it and saying, oh man, I missed the last sign up. The good news is that you didn't. So the very last sign up date is December 10th. December 10th from 10 a.m. to noon at 966 East Main Street. We are taking as many people as want to come and get help. Now, we've already signed up thousands of families. We have room for some more, and we would be happy to help you. And, then the question is, well, how would you help me? And I think that's a valid question. I'd certainly ask it. And, anymore, my time is so valuable, I might even ask myself, because I don't want to be, rude, but is it worth my time? Absolutely worth your time. So there's two different components to what I would call Salvation Army assistance. And I'm going to scroll back here, maybe one more time. Here we go. I'm going to click on the Learn More. Now, forgive the fact that this is coming on a donation page. I'm not asking for a donation in this setting. If you see me out at the kettle, though, feel free. The Red Box program is the food component of Christmas assistance. And so what we do is we literally have a red box, and that box is filled with everything that you would need for what I would call a proper Christmas dinner. Your protein, your fixins, desserts, all the good things that you would need to make for a very satisfying Christmas dinner, including but not limited to the possibility, depending upon family size, of a chicken or a turkey. It's a really good thing. And then in that box, we also include a board game. Now, I don't know which game it is. We have lots of games that come in, but we really felt, especially the last 2 years, really passionate that we needed to include something, not just for the kids, because I'll get to that in a minute, but some way for families to reconnect in a way that was meaningful. And I know I'm old fashioned, but I remember growing up how important it was to spend time playing games with the adults in my life. And quite honestly, it was even more fun when they would cheat occasionally and let me call them out for it. It was a blast. So we found that this is very important, and we include in that red box of food, that board game. And we even throw some things in there for a really nice Christmas breakfast: pancake mix, waffles, and syrup and butter. All the stuff that the doctor doesn't want us adults to eat, but the kids will really love and enjoy. And it's calorie free this one time a year, right? So go ahead and eat it with them too. The Angel Tree program is the gift part for the kids. And so all around town, we do different toy drives, and part of that toy drive is we have these trees located in different stores and different malls. There's actually one in Lindsay Honda in their big showroom. And on those trees, we hang tags that represent children in a various gender and age demographic. And then people will come in and they will grab as many of those tags as they want, 5, 6, 7, maybe one. And then they'll go and they'll buy presents for that age demographic and gender. They bring those presents back to the Salvation Army. And on the day of Christmas cheer, which is the big distribution, and by the way, I would ask that you would join me in good thoughts and prayers if appropriate. We're going to be brave and try and do this safely with masks and gallons of hand sanitizer in person at the Lauchi building once again, because again, being able to shop for your child's toy and being able to have a sense of dignity in that, I just think that's such an important piece to this. I really do. So we're gonna be brave, and unless 3 or 4 more variants come our way, our goal is to do this in person, and to enjoy you as you come through, and just celebrate, the holidays with you in that way. And so that's how we help at the holidays. We do the food, we do the toys. There's usually a bunch of what I would call stocking stuffers that people donate in addition to the toys that can be picked out and shopped for. So nobody ever really walks away wishing that they had more, usually. And honestly, there is absolutely no cost to this program for any participant ever. We are passionate about this program, and it is a pleasure and a privilege to bring that to you. Now, if you decide that you want to come on Friday the 10th from 10 to 12 at 966 East Main Street, you will want to bring with you, this is important, picture identification for the head of house. We just need to make sure that you're you. It's just one of those things. And then proof of dependence with birth dates. So, birth records work well, medical cards work well, any of those things. And we will find a way to work with you. Shot records work well. There's almost no form of ID that we can't find a way to work with. The only thing we would ask is that do your best not to show up with it on your phone. We really do want that to be a physical copy if at all possible. And we will be happy to register you for 2021 Christmas cheer. And so, Scott, that's us in a nutshell.
Captain Brennan, thank you so much. Your organization does so much to help. And I appreciate what you said about, your team recognizes that life happens, and, a crisis can take on many forms, and it can last a long time. We had somebody in our chat share with us that just recently, today, like their purse was stolen. And so a lot of those IDs are gone. But I heard you say that your team really works with, they'll try to take whatever best possible so that they can get that proof that they need, but recognize there'll be assistance, right?
Absolutely. And in fact, it was a few years ago, and it was traumatic. And so I don't know if anybody fully realizes how awful it is until it happens to you, that my wife's purse was stolen. And the amount of work it took just for her to prove she was her was incredible. And so, finally she got the police report that indicated she had filed a claim that her purse was stolen. And that's how the journey started for her to even prove that she was herself. Crazy. So yes, we will work with people because life happens.
So to our friend on here who shared that story with me privately, you heard our friends at the Salvation Army say that they will work with you. So please reach out to them again. Friday is an important day, friends. Make sure if this is an opportunity that you need, Friday is that important day. And maybe Captain Brennan will put all that information in the chat again to remind us of the address and phone number. One of the other things too, and I appreciated you brought it up, that many of our families that are with us tonight, our family ambassadors, are thinking about those families who need assistance. But I also know that our Columbus City Schools families are also most generous. And so for those who are interested in participating, that website gives some opportunities where you too can maybe share your own generosity, correct?
It does, and we've started to, again, you're looking at the color of my hair. I can't believe I'm getting on in years, but we have such things on the website as a way to donate to the Red Box. And what's, I almost feel guilty bringing it up in the setting, but I will. If you donate to the Red Box, now it costs us $50 to buy one of those red boxes with all the food in it. We have a generous donor who, for every red box that is purchased, so every $50 donation, they will match that donation dollar for dollar, so that if you decide you want to buy a red box to help somebody else, you're actually buying two, which is incredible. And then the Angel Tree program, I'll share my screen just for a quick second, if that's okay again, Scott.
Please.
Let's see if I can get this right. Okay, can you see the website again?
Not yet.
Oh, now, oh, right, hit the share button. There we go.
There we
So I'm
go.
assuming that's a little better. So let me go back here. So if you were to go to the website, and I'll just take my good friend Pam's lead and go step by step through this. If you were to click learn more, whoop, see these sliders move automatically, and I'm not as fast as I used to be. If you were to click learn more, it will bring you to this page. And then if you wanted to give a child a gift, but you're not quite comfortable going out yet, to the store, and we've run into a number of folks that aren't, and that's a real thing. You can click on here, and there's a way for you to either sign up to host a toy drive. You can click here to see a list of toy suggestions. You can even purchase a toy through Walmart or Amazon and have it delivered right here, so that you don't even need to go to the store, or you can make a financial donation to the Angel Tree program, and we'd be happy to go shopping. Not me, they don't let me do that. I come back with Nerf guns and they tell me that's bad. So, and then the Red Box, same situation. You can donate, right here. We're slowly getting there. We've got a few weeks left, and it'll tell you about the Red Box here, and so on and so forth. And then if you ever rang the bell before, but you're thinking to yourself, yeah, with cold weather, COVID, and everything else, I'm not quite feeling it, you can host a virtual kettle drive by clicking here. And this has proven to be more and more successful as years go on. So we're almost halfway to our goal. That's great. And you can either make a donation, or you can start a virtual kettle, and you can virtually ring the bell and invite others to come join you. And we've got lots of good teams doing that with us this year. You can see, all the different locations, and that's kind of exciting. But you yourself can host a team, or you got me going on this now, Scott. You could actually, again, welcoming technology into our current day and age. It used to be that if you wanted to ring the bell, you might have to call a phone number, or, heaven forbid, try and get a hold of somebody that's done it before, and but now we've got this volunteer to ring and help feed families. So if you type in your zip code here, and I'll type mine in, and I click see opportunities, it will take me to the opportunities near me. And so if I wanted to ring at Easton, I could click on view, and it will give me all the open shifts for the date. I click on select. Now I'm not going to click confirm, because the Salvation Army officer over there will come grab me and throw me out there right now, and it'll be scary how fast he whips me off of the Zoom meeting. But that's, so everything's, really one-stop shopping on this website, if you will, for everything that we do, including our annual report telling you about all the things we did last year. So yeah, Scott, thank you for letting me share that.
Captain Brennan, thank you again. Just appreciation to you and to the team there at the Salvation Army for all that you do. As we said, the work you do year round, but especially this time of year, and making sure that our families have resources. Okay, friends, just a great reminder as we wrap up here that there are organizations that are out there to help, and we so appreciate that they recognize that crisis comes in many forms. And so They are all there to help. And as you heard Captain Brennan say, if something has happened that has impacted your life that maybe might make things even more difficult, still give them a call, sign up for the information, because they're going to try to work with you to get you the help, because we are, as we said at the very beginning, all in this year to make sure that our families have the resources they need. So again, I just really thank our participants tonight from Lutheran Social Services and the Salvation Army for doing what you do to help our families during the holidays. And friends, as a district, we are committed to engaging our families. Anytime that you need information and resources, reach out to that family ambassador at your child's school. Email me at the Engage email address that you received tonight's Zoom link. If there are resources that we know of, we will work to connect you. And I appreciate that in our district, we know a lot of folks. And so if it's not something that the district can provide, we've got incredible friends and partners throughout this community who are ready to step up and help our families, including Lutheran Social Services, the Salvation Army, and our friends that are also on here from ETSS, who also reach out and serve so many of our families. All right, friends, as I said at the beginning, so much information is available on our website. Make sure you are checking it out. And I realize that as a district, sometimes we send a lot of information, emails, text messages, sometimes all those automated phone calls. I appreciate that you take the time to read them, to check our website, because we're trying to provide you with as much information as possible, because we know how valuable it is to have information. So with that, I'm going to ask one last favor. You all heard some great information tonight. Please share it. Share it with another family that you know that might be facing some of the same struggles. If you're a family ambassador, keep sharing this information, because we appreciate how you make sure our families are informed. And friends, just remember, as a district, we are all in, all working together to make sure all of our young people in this district have the opportunities at success. Thank you, everybody. Have a great evening, and we appreciate the work of our partners. Thank you, everybody.